Proxy Table Gaming, PTG. I'm Hyper G with lucky sixes.
Wiggle
Happy
wiggle.
lucky sixes. Yeah, Masters Open coming to a conclusion.
It
I would say
is.
at long last, but that makes it sound like it was a chore. It wasn't.
Look, finally. Oh,
Yeah,
let's get rid of the open.
yeah. I mean, as we saw in the last battle, we did a bit of a deduction of who was at the top of the table. I had let
Mm,
it grasp from my hands with slippery fingers after Tommy T abused me.
he did.
And Matty P, yeah, well, he started the rut, shall we say,
Mm.
with his outmaneuvering or my ineptitude. And I continued that ineptitude into round four. But round five is a new round.
Yes, it
Me
is.
versus Darren. And
Very
if
much so.
mathematics go completely right, I could finish second.
Yeah. You need a big win.
So I need a big win, and you all need to draw on the tables above me. Now, as we saw in the last battle report, you got a 12-8, didn't you?
Yeah, it's
So
drawish. It
that's
was
not far off
drawish.
drawish.
Yeah.
Yeah, not far off. But obviously, I didn't know that because I was playing Battle on Darren
No.
on the same time. So yeah, let's see how this goes. We had met in the duel round, my Carnosaur and Darren's High Prince, and it was the only character that killed the Carnosaur in the
It
duel.
was. Yeah.
So there's a bit of bad blood there going in right from the off. Not to mention he's a highborn elf. Can't it get any worse?
Mm. Yeah.
There's my list. Obviously headed by the Alpha Carnosaur. Boom, boom. You know the list. We won't linger. And Darren's list, complete, headed up by the High Prince that has got a Carnosaur skull dragging it behind him from his lion chariot. With the Mage Master on Pyro. The commander is on is Queen's Cavalier Elven Horse with the Knights of Rymar, which kind of bring back memories of your old Rymar unit
Yeah,
in
the old,
Cloud, the
yeah, the
BSB.
start. I
You know,
should just try and play that's very similar list, just
yeah, it was
because it's
good
the first
memories.
one.
It was.
Yeah.
I liked
No
it. I like
BSB.
it.
Don't worry about it.
No, no, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, big unit Citizen Spears, which I think is absolutely the right thing to do, with a War Banner of Rhymer, so +1 strength when they charge. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
+1 movement to
oh,
allow them
yes,
to
indeed.
charge.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. Unit of archers, which I found out are going to be the mage bunker. Two Reaver units. There's the Knights of Roma. One block of sword masters, um, which are terrifying if they get in the right situation, but
Mm,
otherwise not too bad to deal with. A small unit of Queen's Guard. I say small because your unit was bigger,
it
but
was.
nonetheless still very deadly with 13 shots a turn,
I had
and a
more
lion chariot
girls.
to round it out. Yes, you did.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. I think Darren's a very good player and he knows Hype on L's back to front. So there is
He
that.
does.
We did see him play you earlier in the tournament, didn't we? And I think it was mutually agreed that Darren didn't deploy as best as he might have done. Um, and
I like to say
he.
I out deployed him rather than that way around,
Oh,
but yeah.
okay. All right, we'll say that's probably as kinder to Darren as well, actually. Yeah. Um, so eager to see how he gets on or what he's changed. He was a bit too defensive against you, is the conclusion we came to, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Generally, yeah. Spores of More and More War, mutual encroachment. Oh yeah, mutual. I was trying to work out what mutual encroachment was. That's just a deployment type, isn't
It
it?
is, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I got Stand Firm, which is he nominated my two Tego units, and if I manage to keep them alive, then I could win Stand Firm. He got Demonstrate Superiority, which again was the Tegu units, so that kept
Mm.
it simple
Yeah.
because they were my two most expensive scoring units. And if I avoided them being destroyed or touching my own deployment zone, then he wouldn't win
Mm.
his secondary, basically. So it was simple in that we were both focusing on the two Tegu units,
Yeah.
but and slightly different because one of them involved a deployment zone as well, but mostly the same thing. Cool. This is deployment, and on the bottom left we've got my magnetic shortbow unit, then one of the Tegu units, Carnosaur, behind a field, not really hiding, but he's just
Yeah.
behind a field.
Imagine
There's a lot of pyro
hiding.
and flaming shots on Darren's side, so I didn't really want to be in a field
Don't go
because
in.
that's
Yeah.
flammable. So I kind of put him there because I wanted him there, but I was like, I don't want to be in the field, so I'm going to
Ooh.
be stubbornly ignoring that there's a field there.
Yeah.
Torosaur to back him up because I like that two pair working together. Two Thyra Scooters, there's the Weapon Beasts, the Tegu unit with the Anorak, the Skink unit, obviously ignoring they exist as usual, and the Gorillas on the far right hand side. For
Why
Darren,
were
he's got
the
Reavers.
why were the weapon beasts like that?
I ran out of room and I wanted to move them
Okay.
forward. They're light troops.
Fair enough.
So yeah, yeah, pretty much. I think Darren has first turn. Can't remember.
He does.
Yes, he does. Yeah, the Reavers on the left for Darren, Lion Chariot, then the Spears, then the Queen's Guard. Normal Lion Chariot, so the one on the left is the High Prince. The Swordmasters in the middle, then the Bows with the Mage in, then the Rhymer Knights, and then the unit of Reavers. Free Vanguard on Darren's part. He is about to Vanguard.
Mm.
Yeah,
And move.
and move because it is his first turn. Now, you'll notice that he moves his Reavers in the bottom left right out of my line of sight of my magnetic shortbows. I wasn't too bothered by that, but I'm not going to claim it was genius on my part to allow it because really I shouldn't have allowed that. It's a simple case of just tilting my skinks until it means he can't get there. So that is
Sure.
poor on my part, but it didn't bother me too much when he did it.
Yeah.
So, there's that. High Prince and Spears come aggressively forwards,
Yeah.
as does the Swordmasters and the Lion Chariot in the middle. Basically, and the Rhymer on the right, in fact. Only his shooting units stayed back. So, what a contrast to
Absolutely.
Darren's activity against yourself. He was coming at me. Now, I am a shooty Saurian list, but I don't think I'm any more shooty than your list, really. You've got a shooty list yourself, haven't you?
Hmm. Hmm.
So it was very different how Darren played straight from the off against
Yeah.
myself than he did
Yeah.
against you. And yeah, I haven't deployed yet, moved yet, and Darren's coming at me right from the off.
Yeah, man.
So there's that. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I vanguarded the Sink Gorillas on the right hand side. I don't know if you can see them, but they just vanguarded into the middle a bit more to see whether I could tempt the Rymar to go forwards or backwards or whatnot. Because I'm very nervous about that Rymar unit. Over here, he starts shooting and pyroing, kills a weapon beast. I wasn't surprised that the weapon beasts were the ones targeted. I ummed and ahed about when I deployed them like that, actually, to be honest, because I was thinking about maybe I should just put them at the back, out of range of shooting.
Mm.
Um, but I did this thinking I really wanted them to get shooting swordmasters because
Yeah.
that just kills swordmasters by the
Nice.
dozen.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I didn't want to waste a turn. I wanted to run forward and drill them with spearback shots. But the consequence is Darren was thinking very much the same, and he wants to prevent that. He actually didn't get very lucky with his rolls on this one. He probably should have killed more than just one spearback. I think I remember it being quite
Sure.
low
Yeah.
rolls on this part because he was
Especially as
shooting
he
with
looks like
everything.
he's got
So
some sort of spell on the Queen's Guard.
I think that was Melodus, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Good.
The bow is the bows on the right, the Queen's Guard are on the left. But yeah. Yeah, so I think I
Uh,
got relatively lucky with
no,
that.
the Queen's Guard are on the right, surely.
No, that's the bows. Hmm They're modelled with flaming, but yeah,
Okay.
his mage in there. Yeah,
Cool.
'cause there's only 11 Queen's Guard. There's only 11 on the ones on the left.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I move thusly, moving the spearbacks forward to start shooting at the Reavers out of line of sight of the Rymar. I stayed relatively far back with everything else, apart from moving the magnetic shortbows to face the Reavers, which was why I wasn't really worried because I just planned on moving them. They're out of line of sight of his prince on the Lion
Mm.
Chariot, so that was just a one-on-one fight in that corner, really. And I
Yeah.
kind of felt like after a round of shooting at strength 4, he's not going to charge me, and I can just swivel again and shoot again if he survives the first turn of shooting.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's why it didn't bother me really. But like I say, shouldn't have allowed it anyway. The Carnosaur and the Thyroscutus just moved like so, still keeping the Carnosaur out of the field. The Thyroscutus wanted to move so that they could have a shot at the line at the Prince, because
Mm,
Strength 6 AP3 is a decent way to knock a wound off or two, and he's got a 4 up Aegis, which is obviously really hard to get through.
yeah,
But I wanted to wound it to this stage where it might think twice about fighting my Carnosaur, because
sure.
Darren already knows that he can beat the Carnosaur one on one,
Mm,
all things equal.
yeah.
Um, but if I do 1 or 2 wounds to the Prince on the way in, then he might reconsider that, is what I was thinking with that. It does mean the Prince does have a charge off on the Thyroscutus, so
Okay.
I was dicing with that because it's full 18-inch range.
Yeah.
Again, Saurian shooting just isn't that long range, so you can't really do it unless you get close. Yeah. Um, Nothing else, yeah, about that. I moved these gorillas into the bottom right corner. I wanted to waste as much time for the Rhymars as possible. If they wanted them, they had to come all the way to the corner to get them, is what I was thinking,
Sure.
by doing that. I wasn't going to get through the Rhymer armor, and there was no real use for the gorillas. Not while
Mm,
now they were stuck in the corner anyway. Darren had moved them, so I couldn't get past them. Um, because I vanguarded so far back.
yeah.
Shooting, I get this job done straight away, so that's
Nice.
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, didn't mess around there. Killed them all. Very, very lucky to kill them all in 1 turn, but that'll do. Spearbacks have to go against the Rhymar because they can't really see effectively on the Sword Masters.
The Reavers, yeah.
Killed the Reavers, yeah, yeah. I couldn't see the Sword Masters for the opening
Hmm.
volley. Kill 3, which is fine.
Yeah.
But, and this is where really it was completely a pants decision what I was doing with the spearbacks. You can probably go back to the last picture because it demonstrates it a little bit more, really. I'd moved these spearbacks so far forward that they could get out of line of sight of the Rhymar with the intention of killing as many Reavers as possible. I actually really hoped I could kill the Reavers because
Mm,
I was hitting on 4s with 16 shots. That's 8. And I'm wounding on 2s.
mm,
And he only gets a 6 up armor. So I reckoned I could kill all 5 of them with one volley of spearbacks.
yeah.
And I had a magic phase where I was hoping to get living steel on the spearbacks to make it hitting on 3s. I didn't get the spell off because I think Darren dispelled it or whatnot. And only killing 3 meant
Did he
that now
use
he had a unit of
Melodis?
Reavers. I don't think he did. I mean, I'm trying to see if that spell is Melodis.
Okay.
It might have been something else. But he didn't use Melodis to save their lives, and it meant he had 2 Reavers left. Why that's an even more of an issue, if you go to the next picture, is that it meant that he could charge with his Reavers and his Lion Chariot
Hmm.
into the spearbacks, and I couldn't get a stand and shoot reaction because the Reavers
Sure.
obviously could move 9, and that was less than the distance between us.
Yeah.
So I was immediately like, oh, why have I moved the spearback so
Hmm.
close to the Reavers when they're my big ticket to killing Swordmasters?
Yeah.
What was worse is that because the Lion Chariot was charging in as well, I decided to flee the charge, Swift Stride, and I rolled a double 1.
Mm,
I didn't go anywhere.
nice.
So I've just given him 470 points of
Yeah,
Weapon
it's a lot of points,
Beasts
isn't
in
it?
exchange for 3 Reavers,
Yeah.
and not a single Swordmaster is dead. What a cock up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, arguably the dice have let me down a bit there, but
Yeah.
even if I did kill all the Reavers, you know, yeah. Oh well. His Rhymar charge into my gorillas in the corner. They need a 6 to get it, but I think they've got re-roll. They got re-roll a charge or something or other on them from
Because
something.
of the Cavalier has
Yeah.
he's Queen's Cavalier, yeah.
So some sort of re-roll. So there's a chance he could pop a 6 there. And you can see that the Prince has already declared a charge into the Thyroscutus and has made it. So
Mm,
he ain't staying back.
yeah.
Thyro didn't manage to do any wounds to it. Unless that's a wound next to it, actually. Might be some green tokens next to the High
Yeah, it does
Prince
look
that
like there's two
the
green
Thyro may have
tokens.
done a wound or two.
Yeah.
So that might be pretty good on my part. Can't see them now.
They're not there though.
Yeah, they might be hiding behind it. Um, he moves up his spears still aggressively. And over here, he fails to charge with the Rhymar, so phew, that's another turn wasted for
Mm,
them hunting the
yeah,
gorillas,
definitely.
so I'm happy about that. Um, he unloads shooting and fire on the skinks. Initially, right, in this magic phase, he starts casting magic against my skinks. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine. I can take 1 or 2 spells on the skinks because I don't really care about them that much anyway.
Yeah.
But he was bullying those skinks, and soon enough I realized, well, I haven't actually dispelled anything this magic phase because
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the big spell, and he just continued killing skinks. I'm like, well, at some point I'm going to dispel something.
Yeah.
And yeah, I lost half my unit, which is fair enough because I wasn't protecting them at all. Obviously, the spearbacks get eliminated at the start of the combat phase. Wow, wow, very sad.
Yeah.
That's so poor on my part. He kills the Thyroscutus unit. I don't think the 1/1/2 signify much. In this regard, he does kill them, but awesomely, he only overruns about 2-3 inches.
Yeah. Maybe
Um,
that's what the
and
one
that,
one two.
oh yes, that probably is the 1/1/2. Yeah. Yeah, I think he only needed like a 4 or a 5 to get into my Taurosaur. And obviously,
Yeah.
pinning the Taurosaur doesn't change me charging the Carnosaur into the flank. But what it does mean is my Taurosaur can charge the front of the Swordmasters with Guiding Mastery and Stampede Resonator Crystal. So lots of impact
Nice.
hits,
Yeah.
guaranteeing the charge with the Guiding Mastery. I don't think that other charge marker near on the right-hand side is actually a charge. I can't. I
Okay.
don't know if you can see it underneath us.
I'll
Probably not.
continue. I'll
Yeah, but
cover it up
ignore it anyway,
worse.
folks. You don't
Yeah.
need to see that corner. Thank you, Morphe, for that timely reminder on the last one. If I've said your name right, if I haven't, never mind. I don't care. No, I do. Anyway, right, yeah. So Carnosaur goes into the flank of the Lion Chariot, and it looks like he has taken 2 wounds. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that might be all right. Might be all right. So we'll see how I get on there. Yeah, the Reavers have overrun to chaff my Tegu in the middle as well. Yeah,
Oof.
my Taurosaur goes absolutely mental on
Yeah, man.
Swordmasters. There's not many left with which to do wounds back to the Taurosaur. It does take 2 wounds because obviously they're decent. You know what, they strength 5 or strength 6?
Should five. Yeah.
Strength 5. So, they were wounding on 5s, but they do a couple of wounds. The red dice indicate combat res before the combat. I'd obviously got a charge and he'd got ranks and banners.
Yeah.
But the green dice represent the wounds. And yeah, I think I rolled pretty well on my impact hits because it was now 3d3 plus d6, I
Nice.
think. I mean, unless I actually kept the Stampede Resonate Crystal for the Carnosaur, which I may have done.
Okay.
I can't remember, but either way, the result is lots of Swordmaster death and High
Mm.
Prince death.
Yes,
High Prince
nice.
goes down as well. I buffed up the Carnosaur with a Word of Iron, so he was a 1-up armor save, which gives
Yeah,
him
that's
a
cool.
5-up save instead of no save armor
Yeah.
wise. So that was very useful. And yeah, Carnosaur gets the job done. Sweet revenge for the duel
Nice.
round. Takes 2 wounds in reply, but that's purely because the High Prince attacked me first.
Yeah.
But only doing 2 wounds to me in the duel, Darren's High Prince had done 8 wounds to me in
Yeah.
one round of
Multiple
combat.
wounds too, isn't it?
Multiple wounds too, so he only managed to get 1 through, and
Yeah.
the lions didn't do any wounds because they were what killed me in the duel.
Mm.
So it was a complete flip of Darren not being able to wound me this time, and Carnosaur just goes munch, munch, munch.
Yeah,
Job done.
nice. Very nice.
Taurosaur overruns past the Swordmasters, managing to get past the Lion Chariot in doing so in the middle, which is something. And I charge into the Reavers. I think the Reavers killed 2 Tegu, which is just rude. But so that's pretty good going from 2 Reavers.
Yeah.
After the combat with the Prince, I move my Carnosaur like this. Not going to say anything more about that.
Right. Okay. You move it like this, you say?
Like this. Yeah, just like that. How freaking easy is it for Darren Spears to get out of that line of sight?
Oh, goodness me.
I'm so shit at this game. Why did I move like that? Why? Why did I move like that? That is
Yeah.
such a dramatic pivot towards that flank.
Maybe that's it. You're just dramatic.
Maybe, yeah. But Darren Spears come into the center. They don't have to worry about Carnosaur charging them anymore. Hey, yeah. That's that. Otherwise, I shape up my Tegu to do some magic. And
This is his turn, I think.
this
Still.
is his turn. Sorry, yes, it is. The Queen's Guard get our line of sight of the Taurosaur, and the Lion Chariot just shapes up a combo charge on the Taurosaur in the middle to give me something to worry about. These guys do make the charge this time around in turn 3, and they obviously kill a lot of gorillas, so they've done that job. I can't remember why he's lost a few. It might have been some dangerous terrain. Because I don't see my gorillas doing 3 wounds or even 2 wounds.
I think I saw it taken before, so yeah, you definitely done it
Oh,
before.
okay.
Maybe a quick lash or something
Mm.
beforehand.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, could be. My anorak was in that direction. Yeah. So yeah, here's just the middle and him getting some spells off. There's another wound with Pyro Flow. And I think he did the Dragon's Breath on the
Yeah.
Lion Chariot, but I don't remember which one did the wound. But it wasn't too effective, really. So Taurosaur is still good. I popped the chariot with one single Quicksilver
Yeah,
Lash,
man.
which is awesome, really. I mean, very unlucky for Darren, really, because, well, I suppose it was wounding on 4, rerollable. So that should be 3 if you get. Oh, actually, Quicksilver Lash is the 2d3 one, isn't it?
2d3 one.
So I
Yeah.
suppose average maybe does kill a lion chariot. I don't know. You can work that out. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
Nice.
was awesome. He double charges the Taurosaur. Why didn't I move the Taurosaur into a more sensible location? I basically just moved it to be in the middle.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not sure why he charged with the archers at all.
Well, yes, it did give me a chance to, you know, get a few more wounds on them or something. He made sure his mage wasn't in touch with my Taurosaur, so the
Yeah.
mage wasn't vulnerable.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it was because he wanted to keep my Taurosaur from charging him if the spears failed. So I don't
Okay.
think that was a guaranteed rear charge from the
Sure.
spears. Because if you remember, the lion chariot's been removed in between them, so it was a little bit of a distance there. Don't think he
Yeah.
needed much, but it could have failed it.
Fair enough.
Obviously, I've had to spend a whole turn moving my Carnosaur the right way round as well. So there's that. Queen's Guard shoot a few skinks, but I'm not really worried about that too much.
Mhm.
Taurosaur doesn't stand a chance in this combat. The
Yeah.
spears just poke him to
Spears, isn't it?
death. I mean, wounding on 5s, so yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And he moves his 3 infantry units like this. The battle's looking pretty simple, really, in what he's got left. I get Word of Iron off, I think, to help out. And oh yeah, this is where, go back to the previous picture, I think. This is where he was, and then I move up in my turn. Not a lot happens in my turn because this. Why did I charge him? I failed the charge. Yeah, I
Okay.
failed the
So you go
charge
4 inches.
from this position. So I go 4 inches.
I think that's so. From this
Yeah,
position, you go to there.
yeah. No, I don't
So this is
know.
where you end up.
I've got a feeling that maybe I failed a charge on the Queen's Guard rather than the spears
Yeah. Sure.
because that's the direction I've gone. Because I saw an opportunity with Guiding Mastery to get a rerollable 5. It was a 5 or 6 to get into the Queen's Guard.
Okay.
And I wasn't confident with the spears still being so numerous
It's a lot
that
of
they wouldn't
attacks.
poke me to death as well.
Yeah.
So I went for the long charge on this Queen's Guard, failed it, and ended up moving 4 inches forwards. And that meant, which I think we've kind of seen in the next picture, that Darren could school me on the wheeling rules, which were that his spears could then wheel around the Carnosaur. I was a right idiot with this one because I didn't understand the new wheeling rules. To
Okay.
me, the red dice are basically where his corners were at the start
Yeah.
of the wheel. And no, I still don't even really get it now, if I'm honest. But this is where he was before he then moved 5 inches.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no way, that can't be right. You've basically got yourself out of the Carnosaur's line of sight.
Well, if he wheeled, did he march 10? So he wheeled 5 to there,
Yeah,
and then he marched went another 5.
exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for my brain, I was like, your corners shouldn't be moving like that when you've only wheeled.
It's
But the new wheeling rules,
yeah.
like
there's a new way of
Darren knows his
measuring
stuff,
it, isn't there? Yeah,
exactly. And Darren, bless him, tried to explain this to me, my meager brain, and I was very doubtful, shall I say. I was a bit of an idiot, really. I apologized to Darren afterwards. But it meant that he got out of my line of sight. And I think I was a bit frustrated about the Carnosaur not making the charge and then him being able to escape as well.
Yeah.
That doesn't excuse that I was a bit of a prick
row.
with this one. Because Darren knows his rules. So, he managed to get them out. Yeah, there you go. Elsewise, so that was another picture taken of him escaping, which I was very salty about. Over here, the skinks have taken another load of wounds from various flaming shots or flame cage or whatever it is.
They're down to 2.
Exactly. And Darren's moving his Queensguard back. The Rhymer are now moving in on the Anarach, which is scary because I have got in the back of my head that he is going to stop me getting out of my deployment zone. With that unit, which does mean that I think that means that I am not getting my secondary because I need to get that unit out of my deployment zone.
Okay.
But providing I keep my Tegu units alive, then he won't win his secondary. And I've got both my Tegu alive at the moment because the other one's on the left-hand side of the Carnosaur.
Yeah.
So I'm still good to stop him winning his, and I've given up winning mine. I think is the right way around. But anyway, he moves. I literally race up with my Tegu on the left, and the Carnosaur runs as far forward as it can because it's had enough trying to catch the spears. I just run him straight at the Queensguard now. And I try and get into the flank of the spears. Darren declares a charge with his spears on my Tegu. I hold that charge even though it's a flank. So this is down to the bottom towards the Anarach. I hold that even though it's a flank charge because Darren needs quite a lot to make it. And then he declares a charge with his Rhymer Knights on the other side, and I flee that one, which means I go shooting along my deployment zone out of range of the Rhymer Knights. And although the spears could very well still make that flank charge and destroy my whole unit, thankfully he fails the charge. And that's even more awesome for me because it means now my Tegu warriors are right in the flank of his spears. So that worked out quite nicely because I think this might be the last picture. I'm not sure.
It is.
Possibly. Yeah, it is. We massively ran out of time. Like we actually were still playing into the award ceremony for the Masters at this point. So there's that. This was the last picture, and I can talk out how it ended because there's a few things happened. One is that I just charged into the spears and into the flank, which is obviously an awesome place for my my guys to be. And I managed to beat the spears. They ran, but I didn't get their points. They ran away. They got away
and rallied.
They rallied. So, not too many points in that.
A moral victory.
A moral victory. Darren, again, thankfully, couldn't be bothered or didn't dare to try and get his Queensguard out of line of sight of the Carnosaur. After all the hoo-ha I'd made about the spears getting out. And he basically was just like, I'll just leave them there. Carnosaur kills the Queensguard. So maybe Darren could have outmaneuvered and kept his Queensguard alive. I'm not sure. I was hoping I'd moved the Carnosaur enough.
We'll say you'd mastered it by now.
Absolutely nailed it that time. But I think Darren took pity on me there and gave me the Queensguard. But the big point swing, not massive point swing, kind of, is that he declares a charge with the Rhymer on my Anarach Tegu. I flee, knowing I've got one turn to rally them. I've got a musician. It's on a maximize 3. I roll a 1 and a 2 on the rally. And not only does that mean he gets half points for me being shaken for my Anarach unit and the Tegu, but it also means he wins his secondary objective because that unit is now shaken. Oh.
There we go. Big point swing at the end, at the very end.
Yeah,
how many points is half points for that unit then?
It's about 400, 500 for those two units, half points combined. Together, they're worth about 1,000, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was annoying on a maximize 3.
Yeah. Big
You know, you
roll.
don't
Big
really
roll.
plan to fail that ever. And obviously it gave him a point for the secondary as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, Darren played well. He was massively more aggressive against me than he was
Yeah. It
against
was.
you.
Yeah.
It paid off big time because it put me on the back foot. It made me make mistakes. He knew his rules far better than I ever will. And I cocked up a few very crucial moments, I think, in me getting some points because I started that battle really well. Like, even
Mm.
though the weapon beasts was a terrible situation,
Sure.
killing the High Prince and the Sword Masters, like,
Yeah.
that's massive.
Huge
I
points.
hadn't really lost much. I'd only lost the weapon beasts at that point,
Yeah.
and he'd lost two Reaver units, the Sword Masters and the High Prince. I shouldn't have let the gas down on that one. So yeah, but Darren played well. He deserved his victory, if not for the fact that he played better, but also for dealing with my poor knowledge in him wheeling his spears.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we go. No, but good fun. Always fun playing Darren.
Yeah.
And yeah, the High Elves get one better on me, and I continue to let the tournament slip away from me, not
Yeah.
getting the
Not.
big win that got me into the podium.
Yeah. Yeah. Not quite podium. And
Yeah.
you. So you finished fourth in the end, I
I
think.
finished fourth. I
Yeah.
just managed to best Darren in the numbers. We were the same on the dual round, but I just managed to finish above Darren. I think Dan just slipped into bottom place with yourself defeating him.
Mm.
And Matty P took the title
Yeah. Yeah.
with Tommy finishing in third behind you. That's right, isn't it? You got second, didn't you?
Yeah. It was. And I got second,
Yeah.
and I managed to get sports. So I got some very nice beer dice,
Nice.
which
Oh, awesome.
yeah, which
Yeah,
is very cool. So
absolutely.
yeah, a big with the Masters Open coming to a close. A big thank you to Jack for putting on not only the
Massively.
Open but the lesser tournament of the Masters itself.
Yeah, we were
And
thoroughly glad to be there. Even the 6 of
yes,
us, tiny tournament, but
yeah, and I
yeah.
mean, from our point of view, it was the first time we played in the Open, and this sort of time of year,
Mm.
normally we do the Masters coverage, so it was really nice to play in a tournament this time of year while everything was going on, still being around the Masters and chatting to everyone. So, yeah,
Yeah,
really good atmosphere, and I loved this tournament because it was only 4 games. 5 games is too much for
yeah,
me, my
yeah.
tiny little brain. So
I think more than one game was too much for me. Yeah, I was doing
but yeah,
well on 20-0 after round one.
really enjoyed the yeah, you certainly were. Really enjoyed the
Yeah.
dual round. Something different
Mm.
and exciting to get involved in, and it didn't take long either. It was a
No.
really nice little round.
Yeah.
And yeah, just all round Frome,
Mm.
Frome,
Broom.
Frome. Very nice place. Nice little school that we were in, and yeah, just
Yeah.
good times all round was had
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
nerds.
Absolutely. Yeah. Always. Yeah. Definitely. But we managed to avoid playing each other. There was only 6 people in the tournament,
I can't believe it.
and
We're
we
destined
got to
never
play
to play in
4
a
of the
tournament
5
before.
opponents, and
Yeah.
me and you still haven't been drawn to play against each other in a
And
tournament.
we will never grudge because we play enough games together.
Exactly.
There's no point.
Yeah.
But just
Yeah.
the fact that we keep missing each other, especially in
Exactly.
there was literally what we could only not play one player,
Yeah. That was each other.
and
Yeah.
that was each other.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it does mean that we're not on the list for the 100 club.
No, indeed, yes.
And of course,
Yeah.
since then, and we go straight into Art of War as well, which
Mm.
is coming up next week. With
Yes.
yourself and
Yeah.
the next Saurian list.
Yes, I'm changing the Saurian list. Those who saw the draw for Art of War will already know the secret behind that, which is not really my Saurian list, is it, Lucky
No,
Sixes?
it's not.
No.
It's a good
Yeah.
list.
As opposed to every other Saurian list I've played. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, so
Good stuff.
I'm really excited to see the battle reports for that. I hope you guys are too. Thanks very much for watching. We've got plans to do army book reviews. We don't know when we're going to do them. We are
No.
going to try and do them as quick as possible because
So
now
many
that
battle reports to do is our
I know.
issue. Like
I know
3 tournaments effectively in the first 3 months of the year is
yeah,
pretty
and
busy.
we are currently in the Erkenork
We are.
online tournament and getting
Yeah.
games in there as well.
On
So
Warhol.
it's
Yeah.
we're collecting it all thick and fast for your eye holes.
Perusing.
So yeah, looking forward to that, and we'll try and get some extra content in. Obviously, we've got RimWorld as well. which we haven't actually played in a while. We've just been uploading all the stuff that we have played, which has been fun.
Yeah, we got a bit crazy over December playing it, didn't we? And we
Yeah.
suddenly realised we got like 20 videos of it.
Yes. So that was cool. So go check that out. We've had last week was a big. There was a big death. I'll say.
There was.
But I will say no more. So go check that out. It's good fun. And yeah, always nice to get involved and do some other things. So lots is going on. Lots will continue to go on. Like, share, subscribe. Check us out on all the social medias. Hit the notification button. Check out movementtray.com and Warhol, our technical sponsors. And,
sponsors, partners. Yep.
Yeah, whatever they're called. And keep the comments a-flowing.
Oh, yeah.
I hope we were not in the way of too much Molfney.
I don't think a lot happened on the right flank because it was just where the Rhymers were destroying me. So
yeah, so hopefully my taking us off on and off camera worked, but we'll see. Comment on that, and let us know what you thought of the Masters Open battle reports and what you're excited for in the future. Otherwise, we will love you and leave you. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye. God bless. See you later.